We got a lot of planting to do today, a lot of things that have to go into the ground now. It's the end of the month, behind on certain things, on time for others. So let's get right into it. In addition to the resetting of the peas, I'm also going to be planting some of the celery that I had started, and I'm going to plant my broccoli. Now, I was originally saying I was going to be planting the broccoli down at the Victory Garden, but actually I'm not going to do that. I forgot I'm planting my bush beans down there, my kidney beans. So I'm actually using that whole plot that I was going to plant the broccoli in. That's what I'm going to be planting the bush beans in. So I've got a couple of spots here at home, and I'm going to plant the broccoli here. So these are the 14 broccoli plants that are going to go into the ground today. And these are the 15 that probably go in another couple of weeks. Late on them. I don't know whether or not they'll really develop, because it might just start getting too warm for the broccoli heads. We'll see. And they're going to be going in a pretty sunny spot, so we'll have to see how that turns out. These are a little late even going in now. They should have been in the ground already, but that's my gig this year. Behind on everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean away the mulch that I had over the top. This was the dead leaves from last year that I just allowed to break down on the garden bed. And what I do is I'll just move them back in afterwards to provide a mulch again for the plants. And I'm just trying to level out the ground a little bit. Once again, for visual purposes, I'll be using my spacers and just making a mark in the ground. And then on this side, I'll make a mark over here. And I could probably go a little bit further. Go right next to it. Broccoli, I'm planting 1 per square foot. That gives them plenty of room to grow. And this, doesn't matter how far down I go with the dibber. I'm just making the mark in the ground so I know where to plant it, because obviously I'll be digging out the ground to put in the seedling. So I'll take one of these plants here and we'll dig out a nice hole that it'll be able to fit in there with. Just to give a representation of how it's going to go in the ground. Approximately where it was planted in the cup, but actually a little bit lower. I'm going to put some organic fertilizer into the ground. I'm going to do a basic 10-10-10. I'll put a little bit of bone meal in here and a little bit of lime. It likes a little bit sweeter soil. And a little bit of borax for boron. Just all part of my mix. So just putting a small handful of the 10-10 fertilizer in here. Yeah, you can probably get away with actually using like a 5-5-5 or something lower like that. Might even be preferable. And I'm going to put in some bone meal, a little bit of garden lime. Might not need it, but I'm going to put in a little bit of magnesium, which is Epsom salts. And that's the borax for the boron. This is the potassium sulfate. You just need really just a little bit. And definitely a little bit goes a long way with potassium like that, because that's like 0.0050. So you really don't need a whole heck of a lot, and you don't want to burn out the plants with that. So mixing that into the bottom of the hole real well. And we'll take out the first plant. The plants were watered in a while ago, So as you can see, they got nice roots growing on there. So you can take them, put it into the ground. So it's got a good establishment there for growing. And you definitely don't mind pressing down brassicas into the ground. They like a firm footing. You could probably even go right up to the first leaf stem on it. This one happens to be dying, so I'm just going to pull that off. One that also helps keep slugs away. And we'll do that with the next one too. So that hole is right here. So again, small handful of 10-10-10 bone meal, garden lime, our Epsom salts, borax, and the potassium sulfate, and then dig that into the soil. So when the roots dig down into it, it'll be nice and available for them. Another nice root system on it. Into the ground. Fret that in really well. So we got the broccoli in, all 14 plants. And as you can see, I put back the mulch around the plants, but not up against the plants. Again, to keep slugs, well, not keep them away, but not encourage them as they might otherwise be. Got plenty of room for a few more plants, 4 to 6 more plants down there that will go in when the others are ready to go. And then I'll have that other garden bed set up and ready to go as well. Next, we'll be planting corn in the center bed. It's 10 feet long by 4 foot wide. And that could give us room for a lot of corn. I'm not sure if I actually have enough corn. I thought I had enough corn, but I might have to actually go get some more. 100-something seeds, but I like to plant intensely into the bed. Typically with square foot gardening, you do 4 stalks per square foot, which would give us, here we go with my math, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 10, so 160. So maybe we do have just enough for 1 kernel in each hole at a 4 per square foot spacing. So we'll see what we got, because I have the seeds soaking right now. And I did want to make note that this tomato cage, if you recall last year, we had a potato sprout up here at the end of the season. And I said, okay, well, I'll mark it and see if it comes up again in the spring. Doesn't look like anything's sprouting up. So I guess that will be where we plant some corn now. I would have let it go to seed had it the plant bounced back, but it never sprouted up in the springtime. While that one potato might not have come up, it does look like I got one right there. Must have missed that one. Also, down here, got one too. So I'm gonna plant around those 2 potatoes. So the bed is all planted. I actually had the perfect number of seeds. At one point I thought I was gonna have too many, and then I realized at the end I've got just enough. I actually had 12 extra seeds, so I just doubled them up right down the middle, and if they come up, they come up. We can always thin it out if necessary, but 4 square feet 4 to a square foot and 4 across, 10 feet down. So that's 160 seeds. So that'd be a nice little harvest of corn. Figure 1 to 2 stalks every ear, a couple of hundred ears of corn. But I'm not counting my eggs before they're hatched. I've seen that too many times. And I also planted my Utah tall celery. Had 20 plants. Not quite sure what I'll actually do with 20 celery plants all at once. But I got 20 celery plants. I've had middling success with celery in the past. Haven't gotten like the real thick, big stalks like you get in the grocery store, but I've gotten, you know, celery stalks. So hoping this year maybe I'll get a little bit better. But we got 20 plants in, and they're in the same bed that I planted the peas in. So the home garden is almost completely planted, which makes me happy. Corn is right there. We got the garlic over here. As I said, this is doing really well. This is the Lola Rosa lettuce just coming along. We've got parsnips here. We've got the broccoli there, and it'll go over to there. Back there, we've got the celery planted. And right along here, we've got peas. So I put some hoops onto the bed, and I'm going to cover that with shade cloth just until they get the broccoli gets settled. I'll cover them, and then I'll take that off because they want that bright sunshine. This here, the corn, I'm going to cover in insect netting to keep the birds away and the squirrels so they don't come in and dig them up. And as I said, the garden here is almost completely planted. We've got carrots planted in the ground here. Those are the Chantenay, and these are the home saved carrot seeds, which look like they're coming up. So that's good. Got 2 more barrels to plant here. One will be beets, one will be turnips. I started the seeds indoor. They're ready to go out. They should have been out already, but I'm behind. Yes. Tried growing some radish, but it was old seed. Doesn't look like it's taken off. So don't think I'm going to be getting any radishes. We got the parsnips in the back, planted in that tall tube. And this is the only thing that needs to be planted yet, and that's going to be for the sweet potatoes. So most of the garden's planted, which is good news. Most of this garden's planted. That's good news. And according to the weatherman, we should be having some nice weather from now on. Supposed to go up to the 60s, 70s, even into the 80s over the next week or so. So I'm thinking that last grip of winter that we had, where frost was quite possible, I think that's behind us now. So we'll start bringing out the sweet potato plants, hardening them off in the greenhouse. It's time to start bringing them out because they're going to go into the garden bed in a couple of weeks and start opening up some more space in my grow room. But you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week? Check out this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell, and that way we'll be able to stay up on the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.